Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're having a great Easter so far. I mean, today is the time I'm making this video is the 30th of March, and yep, it's Friday, the first day of a long Easter weekend. But also, I've been reflecting on my past, and it was around about 6 years ago that I quit a job. And that decision had a big impact on this channel and also on my life. So let's go back to early 2012. I quit a job literally, I think it was the first day of the Easter weekend. And I'd been in that job for 7 years, and I took that job because I got made redundant from a job the previous job I was doing before the hotel job I quit. I was working for a fish factory. I mean, it was alright. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but it was alright. And when I got made redundant from that job, I wasn't really sad because it wasn't something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And, being made redundant kind of, it forced me to move to the next chapter of my life. And luckily, I was able to find another job in 3 months. It wasn't a job I really wanted to do, but I figured if you're in a job and you're looking for another job, that's probably the best place to be. So I worked this hotel job for 7 years, and I absolutely hated it. It was a job I didn't think I was particularly suited to, but apparently I was good at it, and I worked multiple roles in that job. I think in that time I'd worked as a kitchen porter, a barman, a waiter. I also took on the responsibility of a cellarman. I even got qualifications for cellar management and stuff like that. I even worked management as well. Well, I had a role. It was kind of a hybrid role, a cross between my last job. It was also my last job as well. Was the night manager's position, which is a cross between a night porter and a manager's job. Essentially, I ran the hotel at night, and I had some additional responsibilities as well. And after 7 years, I was just done. I mean, the place was horribly run. In that time I worked there, I think the place had gone through like 2 sets of ownerships. It got into administration, and it was just never. It was never a nice place to work. It never seemed to get any better. And in my last role, they were kind of taking a piss. I mean, they expected so much to be done at night time, and they were breaking the law. Like, I know the difference between a B&B and a hotel is a B&B, essentially there isn't really anyone there, whereas a hotel there is. And I think there is supposed to be something legally. I think it's supposed to be like one member of staff for maybe 15, 20 guests or something. And I used to regularly exceed that. I remember one night I had about 70 people staying there, and I was the only person there on my own. And that gets kind of dangerous because you've got that many people, you're on your own. And I just thought, look at, life's too short. And it sucked being unemployed, but the one thing that did help was the dole office, or the unemployment office. I explained them why I quit my job, and they investigated it, and they actually sided with me. They actually said you were right, which is not something they do. So I was able to get a little bit of unemployment money to help me, which I wasn't expecting when I quit my job. I ended up being unemployed from early 2012 to about, I think it was about mid 2013, which is why, if you look back at this channel's history, that was probably a very busy period because I was unemployed. And I probably spent maybe 5 hours every day looking for work. But once you've done everything you can do, what the hell do you do the rest of your time? And I found my coping mechanism was making videos. And I think making those videos definitely did help me to get work, because it showed, that I wasn't like sitting on my butt just playing video games or doing nothing. I was actually creating, I was learning, I was trying to better myself. And having thousands of people look at, watch your content is one way of getting noticed. And when you're unemployed, what you want to do is get noticed. And I think a lot of employees noticed that. And after about 14 and a half months, I got a part-time job as an aquarium assistant at this place. I can't really, name it or talk about it. And I didn't really want to work a contract job, let alone a part-time one. But, tough times, you've got to do what you got to do. I mean, when I worked at the hotel I worked for, I think that was the time when the credit crunch happened, or the economy had collapsed, and this country went through 3 recessions back to back, and I worked 2.5 of them in that hotel job. But halfway through that recession, I just thought, nope, I'm done. And after 14.5 months unemployed, I got a part-time job as an aquarium assistant, and then about 8 months later, I was able to get another part-time job there as a cleaner, which you do what you got to do. But doing that job for, I think it was about 3 years, I was able to leave that cleaning job and get I was able to replace that job with a lab technician job, or a laboratory support operative as they call it. So now I work 20 hours a week in the aquarium, have my lunch, and then I work 20 hours. Let me do a bit again. Basically, I work 40 hours, 20 is in the aquarium, and 20 is basically doing lab support. So basically I go into work, I work 4 hours in the aquarium, have my lunch, then do another 4 hours in the lab. I earn a reasonable wage. I can't complain. It's, I can live quite comfortably on what I earn. And guess what I want to say is that this decision I made about 6 years ago today, it changed my life. It set my life on a completely different path. And yeah, I had to deal with a period of unemployment, which sucked. Then I had to deal with a very short period of part-time work, which was alright. But once I got back into full-time work, everything I wanted happened. I met the love of my life, I got married, we got a home together, we have 2 cats, we have a little doggy. I'm living the life I've always wanted, and it's all because I made a decision. It's really weird to think that your life is because of one decision you made 6 years ago. The only negative thing about that decision is it kind of destroyed a relationship with one of my brothers, because he did not take to me being unemployed, especially for the amount of time I was, and he chose to be, well, quite frankly, a prick to me, and I stood up to him. He didn't like that, so we haven't really chatted much. Well, we've had the odd, surface conversation, but beyond that, there wasn't really anything meaningful to it. It sucks, that one of my brothers, I don't really have a relationship with him anymore, but what can you do? Sometimes that's the price you pay for standing up for yourself. So I guess what I want to say is I made a decision 6 years ago, and it set my life on a path, and I am where I am now because of it, and it's so freaky looking back. Hope you found this video interesting, and it might explain, the periods on this channel where I was really busy, and also why I slowed down. The reason why I slowed down is I was burnt out, but at the same time, making these videos was a coping mechanism. I didn't need that anymore. I mean, when you have everything you kind of want, the things you did to deal with the frustrations are not there anymore. If I make a video now, I do it not as a coping mechanism, not as a way to deal with my problems and frustrations, but I just do it just for fun, just for a lark. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and catch you next time.